And ask clerk to call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Ron Smith.
Here.
Molly Hancock. Yes, hi. Alex Bissett was absent. Dan Ritzko.
Here.
Bill Hudson.
Here.
Walter Townsend.
Here.
Roger Whitley.
Here.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you. May I ask you all to stand with you allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 4 is called agenda modification. It's on the motion to approve the agenda as presented as modified. Well, Mr. Heisen had a comment that he would like to item G on page 2, postpone that to another time. Other than that, does anybody see anything we need to change at all? Okay. The consent agenda is the approval of minutes from December 15th, regular meeting, and the January 12th town work session. I don't seem to have any minutes from the work session.
No, they were incomplete. I gave you the one that we're done, which is the December 15th.
Yeah, so we don't have the work session minutes.
Yes, sir.
All right, so need a motion to approve the consent agenda, the consent calendar, as we call it, for the only item on it, the approval of the minutes for December 15th of last year.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. Make a note, not a second.
No, he seconded.
He seconded.
He seconded
I
it.
didn't hear you.
That's
That's okay.
Yeah.
Fucking enough fun.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, at this point, we come to what we call the public forum. If anyone has anything they want to speak about, make it short and sweet, but come on up to the podium, identify yourself, and have your 3 minutes.
Good evening, Bob Abbott, Howardsville, Virginia, on the other side of the river. And just because apparently it came up in December, I've lived in Scottsville for 17 years, raised my kids here. They went to schools, all schools here, if that matters. Since the words of the founding fathers are important, brought some quotes. I resolved to speak ill of no man whatever, not even in a matter of truth, but rather by some means excuse the faults I hear charged upon others, and upon proper occasion speak all the good I know of everybody. That'd be Ben Franklin. During the December meeting, the only meeting that is on YouTube, which I watched because I was informed, there were 2 town councilors who said untrue things about me. During my statement in November, it was very clear. It is very simple to hack the flock cameras. Anyone can sit at the tavern with a laptop and use software pulled off GitHub and hack it. By the way, that's plainly audible for the noise ordinance purposes. One town councilor said, and I quote, he did sit there and say that he went to the tavern himself and he was able to access the flock cameras on himself on his laptop. And the other town councilor said, that's what he said. That is absolutely not what I said. That is an hour 1:20 minutes, 35 seconds. If you wish to review that quote, I would love to play for you the November video, but we don't have that one up on YouTube yet. I am still waiting for that file. At which point you can hear my 3 minutes when I very clearly did not say that. Also during that meeting, there was a conversation with police chief, who, by the way, I have met with a couple times, and since then, and we're good, he and I. And I get a nod since I'm talking about a third party, but yeah, we're good. My conversation with him over the phone was also cited during that. So a conversation was being made about a third party with a third party not present. So it was a straw man argument. And there's a lot of things said that I also did not say during that phone call. What's frustrating is being accused of breaking the law and hacking something, which I did not do, would not do, for multiple reasons. The email on December 8th, which the chief cited from the head of Flock, said Flock has never been hacked. My conversation with you was in November. So according to Flock, I didn't hack it. My own words say that I didn't hack it, but we don't have video to prove that. It's very stupid for somebody with a security clearance to hack software in a public place, but we won't get into that. You can go ahead and check records of the tavern. I haven't been there since December 4th, 2024, because I don't support businesses because I like cats. Of course, since then, Flock cameras have been hacked, according to Flock. I can leave this if you want. The problem is that we don't have video, we don't have minutes of the 24 meetings since July. Only one of those meetings has the minutes published, and of those minutes, those are also inaccurate. From those minutes of November, Bob Abbott identified himself as having worked in military intelligence at Palantir Corporation. That is untrue. Palantir Corporation does not have a military intelligence division. As I said, I was the director of training for Palantir Corporation, and I have a prior experience in military intelligence. What's my point? My point is a suggestion, and I'm sure the council who's not here can provide much better counsel. I'm not a lawyer. I'm only good at like 4 things. I'm an idiot on everything else. But perhaps before having a conversation about a third party, have the third party present so that the third party can then speak up and say, no, that is not at all what I said. Unless, of course, it's a work session, which at the last work session, my name was then said to people who on Zoom, I don't even know who they are, but they now know my name and they know things I said that is not what I said. I raised my hand, the mayor saw me, but it's a work session, didn't say anything. So that's all I ask. I say this with love in my heart, not arrogance. I don't care what people think about me. You can think whatever you want. I don't care about me. I care about others. And so I leave you with this quote from James Madison, Federalist number 51, author of the 4th Amendment that prevents surveillance. But what is government itself was the greatest of all reflections on human nature. If you have any questions, the town administrator, the town mayor, and the town police chief all have my notes. Cheers.
Thank you, Bob. Any other members of the, yes, ma'am, come forward. Other line.
I'm Gloria Newton, president of Scottsville Volunteer Rescue Squad. Mr. Payne is a member of the board of directors, and he gave me the courage to come up here. As you may or may not know, the rescue squad was recently in a very prolonged and very expensive litigation with Albemarle County, trying to maintain the funds that were donated to Scottsville Volunteer Rescue Squad. Fortunately, we did win that letter. The court saw in our favor, and we were able to retain the funds that were donated to Scottsville Volunteer Rescue Squad by Scottsville residents. The board has met several times. The board of directors of Scottsville Volunteer Rescue Squad has met several times, and we are determined to return the funds back to the Scottsville residents who gave us the money in the first place. To that purpose, we have so far donated $7,500 to County of Scottsville for the new police truck. We've upgraded the Little League baseball and softball fields, or they will be upgraded in the near future. We've given 3 $5,000 grants to local food banks. We've established perpetual scholarship at PVCC for any person from 24590, 22937, or 22946 that wants to go in any medical field. This will be maintained by PVCC, not us. And last but not least, we've upgraded the Daria Park to have 2 ADA compliant implements. We have upgraded the topsoil, put a new binder around it, and we have upgraded the signage and added 2 new benches. We do have some limited funds left, and the board will be meeting in the next quarter to determine where those go. But we're just going to let the town know exactly what we have done with monies that were donated by Scottsville.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for all you do for the town. all your plans for the future. We'll appreciate it. Mr. Payne, how are you, sir?
In vain, 176 Mountain Vista Road, Scottsville. Thanks for the opportunity to speak, and I'll keep it short. First, I'd like to echo everything that Gloria said. And there's a lot of thought put into all those projects, and it's continuing. What I think is good, and it will continue at no cost to the town and no cost to the county. So that in itself is something that's really special. The people that donated and kept that organization going on, the ones they're going to especially benefit, is coming back to them. While I'm up here, and this is just a thought, I'm going to pass it along to you. We lost a Scottsville pharmacy 3 years ago. And we lost Rite Aid last year. Scottsville's been designated a pharmaceutical desert. And it's also been deemed that there is significant health risk because of the lack of a pharmacy here. I know when I was on council, we had discussions hoping that someone would come in and start a pharmacy. I don't know of any grassroots organizations separate from the town or the county that are actively seeking a new pharmacy or a new pharmacist to come in. So what I'm proposing is to start a grassroots organization. I don't want to duplicate anything anyone else is doing. However, I think, for example, if we get a group together composed of local physicians, maybe the past owners of the Scottsville pharmacy, other city groups, especially the Chamber of Commerce, and I'll be talking with James about the Chamber's resources they have to help out. My thrust would be to look at 2 pharmaceutical universities, VCU and Shenandoah College. All those pharmacists are not going to be working at CVS. They're not going to be working at Walgreens. And I think that maybe there might be some pharmacy students that will graduate that may want to come to a small town like this. There are professional organizations that help these people along with their school, of course, and there are grants available to startups. Pharmaceutical prices are coming down. It's going to be more affordable, and there's a lot of things going to be in place. I think this year, especially, that weren't here when we lost Scottsville Pharmacy and eventually Rite Aid. There's a lot of reasons why a business would pack up and leave town. I'm sure Scottsville Pharmacy, the owners there had their reasons. But one of them that people don't realize is the pharmaceutical companies deal with pharmaceutical managers, but they're basically brokers. And they're supposed to negotiate the prices for these small neighborhood pharmacies, especially. And they really didn't do a good job. A lot of the prescriptions that went over the counter, actually cost that pharmacy more than they made. They were losing money as it was going out the door. I think that's going to change with some new rules and regulations. Now, I think that the time is right to be more active and pursue the pharmacy. So for anyone that's interested, I'd be glad to talk to them. And I think if there are different groups that can speak as one voice, then we can put together a presentation and go to Albemarle County Economic Development. I've already talked to the Virginia Department of Economic Development. They're on board. And let's get somebody here that can serve the community. Appreciate that.
I appreciate that, because when Rite Aid announced they were closing, about the time they closed, I contacted the Southern Albemarle Health Systems president, who owned the building over here. And they were supposed to remodel the pharmacy side and put in a telemedicine thing, and that got all put on hold for some reason, so they haven't done anything. But my point to them was, you've got a pharmacy in your system in New Canton. So why can't you put one over here too? And we went back and forth with emails for a couple of months, and then they just sort of stopped having any interest in it. Then when that out parcel came up for sale in front of Food Lion, I contacted that guy. He happens to be a realtor out of Yorktown. And I told him we needed a pharmacy up there. And he said he didn't know of anything he could do, but he was to keep it under advisement, as he said. So I've reached out to 2 different people, but I certainly agree we need to reach out to more. And if I can help you, let me know.
Well, if anybody in the community can help out, I'll be glad to spearhead it, but it's gonna take the community. You just sit at home and be people who warrior and fuss about not having this and that until you show up and actually do the work, then you mean business. Otherwise, you just sit there begging and it doesn't.
Thank you for your comments and your interest in getting this thing moving again. Anybody else from the public?
Well, should we, can they have a public talk if they follow up, or should we do that now?
This is public forum for anything. It's not all.
You wanna do that, George? You want to?
I was gonna wait for the call on.
Can we do that then?
We'll do it when we get to it on the agenda.
Okay,
That's
what, I wasn't sure how that's.
So I have to print the agenda.
Okay,
It's like a roadmap.
I wasn't sure if they could speak during that.
Yeah, I'm kind of employ the, this policy that Barry Grove had. You know, if you have something in general, you're welcome to speak now. If you have a specific item, I'll give you some time to speak during this, when we're talking about that specific thing. If you say it now, an hour and a half from now, people are not gonna remember what you said, there's still people here.
Okay, I'll wait for that.
Okay, thank you, George.
Sure.
Mr. Mayor,
Say something.
Yes, sir.
Chief Hurley and I, along with the county administrator, would like to just briefly update council on where we're at with the preparations of this winter storm that's due in here over the weekend. We met this morning, Chief Kersley's been on the phone with the folks from Albemarle County's Emergency Management, trying to get what their plan's gonna be, how we will be able to plug in, should we have any major power outages for anyone that might need that type of assistance. The police department, our officers are on standby for the weekend. Parking on Valley Street, we've posted the signs today, and there will be no parking along Valley Street, north and southbound. Both sides, north and southbound. The signs have been posted from 5 p.m. on Saturday until noon time on Monday. Now, hopefully, depending on the amount of snow or weather we get in here, hopefully VDOT will be able to come through and keep Valley Street open for the town businesses. And if they're calling for 2 foot of snow, and we don't want Valley Street to come down one lane, then there'll be a lot of problems. So if we can keep all of our parking off from Saturday evening until Monday morning, we should hopefully, if VDOT does their job and gets the snow out of here, we should be able to pull the signs and let people go back to parking once business is open again on Monday. Anything I missed?
No. We'll have a ECC will open up an EOC with a virtual meeting of all the chiefs in the county for any fire rescue issues that are going on. So we'll be able to talk back and forth that way, either by radio or by phone. So if there's issues that you know of that are in the town, if you get them to me, I can get them quickly passed on to what's going on over there and hopefully get a better resolve to getting the problem. We reached out to churches to see who had generators. Unfortunately, there's nothing in the town that has a generator. So they're willing to help out some, but with power outages and significant power outages, if we get to that, we don't have an emergency shelter to send people to. So we're working on that. There's a meeting tomorrow at noon to try to figure that out. Well, I'll let you know when we figure that, where they go with it.
Looks like the market is prepared. You've got a big generator out there.
We've been in touch with the chamber president. He's pushed out a message to all of our business. We're just please asking our business owners and our residents to please come Saturday in the evening by 5 o'clock to have their cars moved. The last thing I want to do is have to bring a tow truck in here and start towing people's cars. That's the last thing we want to do, but just encouraging everyone at 5 o'clock on Saturday, please find alternative parkings. We have Victory Hall here, we have the Farmers Market, Canal Basin. We have different places where folks can park off of Valley Street, so we can help keep Valley Street open. And then come the first part of the week, hopefully we can get business back to usual if we get what they're calling.
Appreciate it. Thank you
Yes,
all.
sir.
Thanks so much.
And the town is snowball too.
We have.
We haven't done so big deal, but sidewalks.
Pam's been working on it, make sure it's done properly.
Goes.
Uh, Moving to our regular business and start with the town administrator levy repair funding update.
I met with Mike Boyce, thanks for coming the other day. He had indicated that he, had some connections with the Army Corps of Engineers, engineer. He was able to provide me the email, and I sent an email requesting a copy of the most recent inspection. The inspection folder that I found in the documents, I think what was that?
2013.
2013. So I'm guessing there's a newer folder with information. I'm sure there would be, but we haven't found it yet. Actually, Jan, with the help of the police department, was able to open that cabinet back in the side there that's been locked. And the lock was drilled out before anyway, so there appears to be newer information in there, but I have not looked through it to see if there's an inspection.
All right.
Did Pruitt,
Contact Tim Carr, I imagine he has a duplicate copy.
Okay.
did Pruitt say anything about the support from Elmore for the levy?
I'm sorry.
Did Pruitt say anything about he was gonna try to get some more
Well,
support?
he had indicated that when I had that conversation
So
with him back
it
in
looks good for that?
November or December.
So,
I don't know. He said that he would look into it, and I did find out through Nancy Gill that she talked with Thomas Unsworth. And he works apparently for Albemarle County, and he said he was reviewing it, so I reached out to him to ask him if he would like me to send that same email that I had sent before. And let me see.
great.
He said that he was asked to do a little background research on the request for the budget team, and they sent me the packet that I've already shared. That I shared with Supervisor Pruitt. Andy Bowman will be in touch soon with any questions he has, and then he said I'd be happy to chat anytime if I can be helpful with anything around town. So.
It'd be good for one of them to come to one of our meetings sometimes, so we could just talk to them a little bit, so we don't get it secondhand. We used to have a county administrator, county come to the meetings about every other month. And I don't think he's been here in months. Anyway,
No. I got something to add on all that.
Yes, sir.
So, at the time of the work session, I mentioned a couple of grants that the state has. I attended a online work session today for one of those grants. The one I attended was for
DCR.
well, they're both with the DCR, but the one I attended today is for dams, more specifically, ideally, Scottsville Lake would fit into that. Unfortunately, it's not for general maintenance, such as routine maintenance, such as tree removal and vegetation. But it's meant for, if you have upgrades to, say equipment, things like that. That one is the one that is taking applications now and will close in March. And that's one to keep in mind if we need something up at Scottsville Lake. The other one that sadly closed, or the grants were announced last week, is the one that would ideally be for the levy, because it includes, it is the Virginia Community Flood Preparedness Fund grant. The deadline was October 15th, so we missed that boat in the fall. The awards were announced last week, and it specifically is for things such as flood preparedness, including levees, flood walls, I was looking at the grants that were announced last week. It's everything from 20+ million to the city of Norfolk for walls, flood walls and equipment, to tens of thousands of dollars for small towns and counties all over, Virginia. So it is in the 6th year of doing this. So I expect that will be, announced again soon. So, it's at the website that I sent to everyone here. If you want to go out and do more research on it. Good news is, we've got until September or so to get our ducks in a row to apply for a grant. Whether the county comes through or not, I'm sure we could find something in this town which is at a high hazard for floods, to apply for. And hopefully we're there every year to have it. The one thing that we did get out of that fund prior a few years ago was flood inundation maps. So even if you don't have something specifically that you think about, let's say the levee was, you can still go out there and get studies done. You can get flood inundation maps, and a lot of those are prerequisites for applying for the other parts of the grants. Right? So do some research since it looks like we've got time, unless there's something pressing at the Scottsville Lake, but unfortunately routine maintenance isn't gonna work. They both work on a reimbursement. So you could, have the project we pay for, then get reimbursed.
Do you know what percent they reimburse?
I don't for the one concerning levees and flood walls. For the Scottsville Lake, I do. That one was brought up in the work session today, and it's the larger of 5,000 or 10%. So if you say have repairs at $40,000, that meant the grant, then you would owe $5,000. So what that kind of means is you wouldn't go out and get an engineering study for the lake, because that's probably not going to meet the threshold of $5,000. Yeah, so that one I do know. The one for the levies and repairs, I'd have to do more research. But the grant application and everything, the workbook will explain a lot of that. I didn't read through every page of that. But that's something we need to keep our eye on. Not miss that.
September, you said?
So October 15th was the call, the end date this past year, I assume. Every year it's announced in January when they award surely there's something that we can apply for, even if, Magic Fairies fixed the levee and the pump, repaired it or did the maintenance, but not fixed necessarily. So anyways,
Thank you.
I'll keep my eye on it and keep y'all updated as I read more about it.
Okay. Any more on the levy? Item B is set annual meeting date and time. Would next month's council meeting be okay with you folks with that one? And hopefully Alex will be here so we can have the whole crew. Does anybody have any objections? It's just it's more of a formality than anything else.
So we would meet second Monday, third Monday is President's Day. And then so we would have a meeting on Tuesday.
It's not on my
Yeah, that is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we normally do. So back to the set schedule that we normally.
Well,
Well, what is our set schedule?
we don't have.
That's
Well,
good.
That's the problem.
That's all.
Let's set it today.
Yeah.
Well, then we set it for next month anyway.
It's set as it is set as what we have been doing ever since we've been on it since 2010. And if we want to change it, tonight's a good night to do that. We talked about the first and third Mondays, it's just not gonna work. Second and fourth Mondays, which is a good choice. It gives
How about first and third Tuesday?
So
Well,
what you're saying is you would like the annual meeting to be at our next meeting?
Well, we're supposed to have it, I think by code, we're supposed to have it right now.
Well,
Do we want to change our meeting schedule tonight?
I think that's letter D in our agenda, so we can skip to that.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, I'm willing to change it if that's the majority, I do, and I'm willing to change whatever we want, I think it's a good idea for Alex to be here. I'm not one of the instigators of change, but whatever y'all think is fine with me.
let's do the annual meeting in February.
Okay,
Is that all right with y'all?
Fair motion.
And that will be at what date?
That's what we're gonna find out
Oh.
in just a couple of minutes.
Well, you know, just going back to the meeting, I think next year for this annual meeting, I think we need to do like that one does, make sure it's in for next January too, so we don't run into what we did this time, so. You know, include January too, that's what they do, they don't just do it.
This year and next,
They do it this year and the first month of next year.
that makes sense.
So let's skip over C for a minute and go to D, set the meeting calendar. We talked about, as I said, the first and third Mondays, which. First Monday conflicts with planning commission. Are there any committees that meet on Tuesdays?
We do, but
ARB does.
They will, ARB meets on Thursday.
and government service does, but usually it's 11 o'clock.
ARB meets on the first Tuesday. Well, you know, we can do second and, as I said, second, fourth Monday, second, fourth Tuesday, whatever y'all want to do, I'm pretty flexible.
But I did wanna stipulate it that way we can,
Get
the
the
town.
week in there,
get
those
the,
run some staff into.
we can boy and stuff, give enough time for. Yes,
So your options are the same.
that is one of the big things we wanna do, instead of having them back to back. You know, a week,
Monday or Tuesday.
keep it 2 weeks apart regardless whether the first, third or second,
Yeah.
or fourth. I do think that having it 2 weeks apart is the better option.
So just to follow up on that, if we were to go on a Monday from the second, and then the second, I'm sorry, we keep it the second Monday and move the other one to the fourth Monday. Okay.
Second Monday.
That way it will allow the meet and the committee can send in the information and minutes and everything, and everybody will be in line with the FOIA and all the requirements that are required for public notification.
Second Monday is gonna be planning commission, whatever, work session, whatever date it's on, whatever it is. It's gonna be our work session.
As long as it's 2 weeks apart.
Who, if Bill wants Tuesday, anybody else want
Well,
Tuesday?
One of the things is that maybe the planning commission can look at their calendar too, see if they want to keep it that way too.
Well,
We're talking about.
We're-
Because that, so we don't have a conflict.
we're on the first Monday, we do have the option of doing second and fourth, I didn't think that was a question. Where we,
No, but I think it's just, we don't want conflict, but if you guys want to change it, we can do it.
my preference is to do Monday, so I think we should vote about it,
Second and fourth
The
Monday.
recommendation to go to Tuesday was due to the fact that a lot of federal holidays fall on a Monday. And that way, if you were to have it on a Tuesday, you wouldn't have to reschedule or go through, okay, we got a holiday here, so we're gonna have to move this to Tuesday and shift everything. They just wanna have a set schedule where nothing gets changed.
As I said in the last meeting, show me a schedule that doesn't have some conflict. So if you go all the way out to December, it'd mean you would have a town council meeting December 28th. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't, right, you have to have a.
So,
sort of,
and I'm not trying to argue
Right,
against
no,
it.
it's a good point.
I'm the Mexican that has some flexibility. So you might December do the 21st, but that's all I'm saying. I'm out. Whatever y'all say.
Well, no,
Yeah.
Tuesday.
What?
I like Mondays, but I'm flexible.
but as long as we have 2 weeks in between. them,
Yeah, so
think
I
that's
think-
okay.
Looks like it's gonna be on Monday, now you just have to decide.
Second, fourth Monday.
I make a motion that we do the second and the fourth Mondays, so
at 7 P.M.
at 7 p.m.
Make sure it's complete.
There's a second to that motion.
I second.
Second. All right. Now, let's discuss those.
Okay.
And if it,
And then-
December of the 28th, we decide to move us with proper notice a week ahead of that.
And we'll do it right now, we'll do it December 21st. We'll do it. For that.
Not complicated.
Okay.
My God, so are we taking a vote?
Well,
Yes.
we're having a discussion now. It's been moved and seconded to have a work session on the second Monday like we've been having, and have regular council meeting on the fourth Monday. So staff will have 2 weeks in between to get all done that needs to be done for the council meeting instead of rushing. Good job.
I'm gonna say this, I have been an advocate for years for the second and third Mondays, but I know there's a movement on the council to go to second and fourth, totally fine with me, let's go to the second and fourth.
Well, the other thing, I still wouldn't mind having a 6 o'clock meeting, the work session, just so it makes it easier for people.
Well, it is, you got Roger, Richardson, Waynesboro, you got Townsend that works in Scottsville at 5 o'clock or later, depending on what he gets tied up with. You got Alex working, you got Dan working, you got Molly working.
Yeah, but
Well,
what about
6 o'clock.
those folks? 6. They're the ones that should probably decide 6 or 7. I think 7 probably fits people getting off the work. That's just what I'm saying, because I mean,
Yeah,
if you leave work an hour more on 5, I mean. you're
Especially
eating popcorn.
going to Charlottesville and Williamsburg.
Yeah, I'll be here whatever time, but it's those folks.
Roger, we have to know what kind of Pop-Tarts.
I think they were blueberry, but also get sprinkles.
So Dave, a motion has been seconded, made and seconded, and we're discussing now is the second Monday of each month would be work session, and the fourth Monday of each month would be town council meeting. And the time would be 7 p.m. That's the motion that was made and seconded, so for discussion. And we'll call for the vote.
Yes, sir. Molly Angevine,
Yes.
Alex Pacificus, Dan Briscoe,
Yes.
Bill Heisen. Walter Townsend,
Yes.
Roger Whitley,
Yes.
And that will be effective in February.
effective February.
February. Okay, now we can
But
back up.
can I just say something about meetings too? I don't know if it affects us, but maybe you, Elizabeth, can look at special sections that will be needed. Because I think we need to really start with going at our budget, and I don't think we're gonna be able to do that at town council. So I think maybe you could look at the calendar where we could have a special session too. And also, last year it was a mess, and we were last minute. And maybe we could actually start at the end, say the public hearing will be at this time. And we'll have it approved at this time, but we need to get going on this. Of course, we're gonna need the data and the financial, but it'd be good to get the calendar, because last year we voted on it, and then we carried it over to after it was done, and there was a lot of problems, and that's when our financial problems began. So I think if we could get a handle on that this year, that would be very good. And I don't, a couple of years ago, we had a special meeting, we went over things item by item, line by line. And I think that was pretty helpful too. We didn't do that last year. So anyway, don't put that maybe calendar for the budget was separate. It could be included in these, but I think we're gonna need a special meeting or two.
Would we like to go back to our annual meeting date
Yeah, let's do that in February.
in February?
Okay, I'll ask the town administrator to lead us on number C, the Caldwell account policy.
Okay, so actually it's council discussion. I don't, have any information about the policy.
Do you have any information, financial information about that? Like, I recommended like trying to find out how it was used over the last couple of years. How much we have in there? Has it been paid back?
Yes, but I was gonna talk about that, later.
Well, this is a good time.
I'm sorry?
This is a good time. This is the issue. You could do it twice. I thought we had, I haven't seen a budget, but I thought we had at least 100,000 in there for. Well. And anyway, my point is with the Caldwell fund, if I was a donor and I had a lot of money I wanted to give to the town, I would think that I would say, this is what it's for, just like this Canal Basin Square. This is what it's for. You could use it for this, but and it should be assumed that you cannot use it for this, this, and this. So anyway, I'm not sure what, maybe George what it was stipulated to begin with, but You know, I knew people who knew the Caldwells, and they were very caring people, and they very cared about the town, but I don't think they gave money just for operating expenses. I think they gave it for emergencies. But anyway,
Maybe
Can we-
that would be a
George, do you want me to speak now or when? Yeah, come on.
yeah, this would be a good time, I think, because this is a topic of,
You know the history, like, a couple of the
yeah,
others.
because you did a streetscape,
When it was,
and we don't have, I don't think we have a policy.
correct me, we do.
The town does not have a written policy.
Oh, okay.
No, sir, it does not. But I actually went back to speak with Amy as well, since she has more institutional knowledge than even I did. She was here before. And we went back to that, not just what Barry did, but prior to that, when it came in. The intent was for the money to come in and not be utilized for any general stuff that I don't know. But you have a grant, you need to apply and pay for the product before you actually get reimbursed. Yes, you can borrow from it, and that's a good reason. If you had a fire in this building, something you need to rebuild, certainly you have to put money in before the insurance company does. It's all of that type of thing. But it's not a piggy bank. It never was a piggy bank. Matter of fact, during my tenure, we made deposits to it. Barry Grove tried to set a standard that the town would add to it, because things go up in price. Dan, you were on council at that point, you remember, and it was very important to Barry to try to add to it, and we should try to go back to the grassroots, something even if it's just $1,000. You know, it'd be nice if there was more. I mean, we did $10,000 increments at different times during that, and we did borrow for the streetscape money. And it was put back with interest. And interest should not be, as one of the meetings I attended in the last year, when they were saying 4%. If you take the money out of some bond or something else, if you interrupt the interest rate, you pay the expense of it at least. You pay the average rate, not some nominal. The account is meant to grow so that the town has something to fall back to. And the government services in December did discuss trying to, and I wasn't there, but I was out for surgery. And they discussed trying to get the town back maybe 4% out of it each year. Wrong. It's not a piggy bank. It was never intended to be a piggy bank. I was taught by Janie Caldwell when I was growing up, right behind where the library is right now. Janie taught in a 2-room school there. And we had even a coal stove. So it goes back a ways. And her husband was a farmer. And they lived with the mother-in-law. They never went out and bought another house and lived anywhere else. They lived very frugally. And they gave money to the Methodist Church, and the Methodist Church has been pretty good administrator of the money as well. They've done some roof repairs and some things to the church to preserve it. Nothing.
And, even though it may not be in writing,
It's the intent of what
we
was happening.
decided that if any money was taken out, it would be paid.
Yes,
Yes.
But
that was a given.
in the budget,
Emergency fund.
correct, it is an emergency fund.
Emergency
And
fund. If we needed
Now-
something in an emergency, we could access it through that, but we had to pay it back.
Yes, sir. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I could be, the money for the red truck was taken out there. And in one other meeting, I was in attendance. The town clerk mentioned there was $10,000 that she was going to park in the Caldwell fund because they didn't need it earlier this year, actually. So there was $10,000 that I haven't heard one way or the other what's ever happened to it since. But I also haven't heard the repayment plan for the red truck. And
What was the repayment plan?
that's bothersome.
For streetscape, how long did you have, because that was a lot of money, so how long did you?
It was a lot of money. It was
How long did
a
it
couple
take you to
months.
pay that back, or what was it?
It was within the same year.
Was it?
It was within the same year.
Oh, the same,
It's not long-term loans.
okay.
That's not the purpose. But boy, you're talking about this, borrowing money for the streetscape. I personally believe this is not your your tenure, Elizabeth, this was before, but when Javier was in here talking about that, said 83,000, 88,000, whatever the number was. There's bound to be a specification there that I don't believe has been researched enough in the construction world. Whether that's the right price or we're being finished by somebody. I believe between the Corps engineers and Dan, myself, we either one, and all of us can help if you'd let us try to get back to the Corps and get some real construction kind of quotations and that type of thing, not just somebody lobbing out a price from Richmond and hardly even know what they're doing. That we need to do. Maybe we could save some money there and not have to spend this money. Don't know. But Tim Percy already asked Tim Carr, he said he had already turned it in. I know during my tenure, we had to resurvey the levee, do core samples of the levee because the records could not be found at that point in time. That was a lot of money the town spent. I hope we don't get into that problem again. We need a special file cabinet for this levee system. Sorry, I
No, that's
overrunning the subject here, but
you're a good.
but it's just Jeannie and Gray were very frugal people.
Yeah.
Lived very simple life. They loved this town. That's why they did what they did. But please take care of it.
Oh, we will. Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So that's,
Could we put this on a work session too, so we could actually come up?
why don't your committee come up with a?
Well, we did, but I think we didn't do it right because George went there, but I do think we need to have a policy for 20 years from now. Somebody's gonna say, well, let's use the combo thing, pull that out and say, well, here's what you can do, here's what you can't do. Okay, we could go. Okay, we could work on it, I guess we could work, but hopefully you'll be there. Okay.
Item E, another.
And
Yeah, thank you.
One more thing to that. And it did require a council meeting before money was.
Right, council has to approve it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, council has to approve it, but yeah, we need it all in writing.
Okay, there's a lot of little things.
Yeah. So item E, item town administrator.
Personnel policies to add.
That was discussed this last, work session that we had, amending, updating the personnel policies and the employee handbook. A packet of information was, given to you all the last time. I don't know if you all had any questions about that, our attorney last time also was here to hear this reading and what was proposed. Several of the items were over a year old, of things that we needed to update. So
Council, do you know, are you versed enough in this to vote tonight, or do you want to hold that off till next one?
I think get it. I don't have my copy in front of me,
I don't have my copy either.
and I didn't really get a chance to go. I could pull it out. I thought it'd be.
Let's put that on the agenda for February,
We've had the copy for a while, I mean.
whatever before.
Give it.
okay, so let me just say, I have, and Molly, you probably don't know this, but back in the fall, because we give you all so much paperwork. We had said that we have mailboxes in here, if you don't wanna take home all this paperwork, with you. That we will keep it here, and then the next time you come in, we'll have it, we're doing that, trying to keep from having to print things all over again.
But also that would mean that you wouldn't be able to read it at home, so yes, try
Oh,
to.
great, so
So once you've read it enough that you feel close, then we'll keep it for you.
have kind of a central,
Mailbox station,
no, like a server that
Yeah.
No,
access.
we do not yet.
Oh, so it might be in the future, that would be so great.
I think it would be great, but maybe not
It'd
having.
be a really great way to share that information, yeah. No,
For
I,
teams perhaps, I mean, I know all of y'all are registered for teams.
unfortunately, I'm still not able to access
Teams.
365 on my computer.
Any workday, during office hours, I've been helping, Miss Nancy Gill get into her email and Dr. Carrier as well.
Okay, I would appreciate the help. It's just, it's not my computer.
It's something that
It's an access issue.
Will work.
Have to
Yeah.
set your entire password.
Yeah, okay.
We'll do it.
I have to reset it or?
No, you just come
Oh.
see me and I'll help you with it.
Okay, that would be great.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much.
You're not the only.
I was like, oh no, a Teams meeting. I can't do that. So thank you.
All right, so moving on to, F.
Yeah,
I think Mr. Heisen wanted to have this,
this is something that we customarily do at the annual meeting,
so that can be,
so we can do that in February if it's okay, everybody.
yes,
Keep your current position for the next month, and then
on F.
we'll discuss it in the work session, but, vote on appointments if anybody wants to change.
I wouldn't mind looking at a couple of new committees too, or seeing, and we could add a few.
All right, so
There's, I mean, the staff is strapped and people, you know, and committees are really good for doing the background research and finding out things. And I think that.
If you're talking about the position being part-time and all of that, at any point in time in the.
Tonight,
Uh-huh.
I think it's
I don't
not,
think so.
it's not on the agenda.
I just was reading, Bill Heisen
Yeah.
was asking questions here and there, and I was really concerned that that was gonna happen, because I had this packet and I didn't.
Well, we need to
It's in-
think
It
about.
was on the agenda last.
Yeah, so
Right.
yeah, skipped last.
No, I
time.
know.
Yeah,
I
so.
Yeah, that's a big need.
It was,
And I think that.
I know it was on the agenda, but I think that there's
We got a lot
still,
of February.
February work session, you okay, Tom?
I was actually in the middle of talking.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it would be nice if we all stayed together.
Go ahead.
So what I was just gonna say is it would be really nice if some of this paperwork, I know you said you sent it to us before the meeting and then during the meeting, we got a copy of it. It would be really nice if some of these documents are really, really long. And it would be great if we had some idea of what was in there, like a bulleted list at the top that said, you know, here is what we have. Then I know.
Table of contents.
Do I do this? Do I need to do this real quick, or do I have to read 10 pages? You know, it's just difficult. I'm a volunteer. I have a job. We all do other things. I'm sure there's somewhere else you'd rather be too. But just mentioning that as a suggestion, just because it would make it easier to read.
Okay.
So. But we are in agreement that this is going to be a part-time position, the clerk position.
I think that they just said that they want to discuss.
That's what we're
the
gonna
next
discuss.
meeting.
Okay, so that-
February, then we'll vote on
You
it.
started talking about. Okay,
Okay,
you started talking while I was talking, so I probably didn't hear you.
Yeah, touch on what Councilor Andrew Vaughn said, I talked about some of the information, the emails and stuff. I have noticed that we have, certain people have asked certain questions and the bottom line is the information's been, provided to us. There are some people who have said they don't like to look at a 6 or 7 page email thing, whatever, but sometimes it doesn't hurt to check the whole thing, the information that you're asking for is there. What I'm gathering from your request would be like, if we would get an email or something like this, we would have a little thing that would say, okay, page 2, we're gonna talk about this, page 3, I mean,
yes, sir.
I appreciate everything y'all done for us, and I mean, I'm not trying to add on more to your workload, but yeah.
Well,
As town council, we need to work with everybody and, you know,
I agree.
I've taken the time to read the emails and stuff, you know, sometimes they're lengthy, sometimes they're short.
Well, I'm glad you have extra time to do that. I'm just saying that sometimes it's difficult to do and it would be really helpful. I'm just making a suggestion. This is not written in stone. But if you guys want to say absolutely not, I don't want to read a synopsis or a summary, then that's fine. You can say so out loud.
So can you all, okay, so you all were talking about pushing this back to February. When last meeting and the mayor, you told me to advertise the position. So it was in the agenda. I said that I was advertising during the meeting. I said that I would advertise the position. So the position is online advertised as a part-time position. So now what do you want me to do? Do you want me to
If you had
change
any
it?
candidates,
Just asking a question.
No,
no candidates.
no.
So we go,
I have questions.
And you also instructed me to have a public date of January, the end of January, so please tell me what you want me to update.
so what do y'all wanna do? You wanna do a part-time clerk or full-time clerk?
We have a question
No,
from
I
the
think it
audience.
was,
This is that's
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
I believe we have a problem with this, that try to push it ahead. I understand the need for it, but to pass and hire somebody part-time without knowing what the other half of the job is gonna cost us for the accounting companies, I think it's inappropriate because you have no idea how your budget's gonna get exploded. I believe you have to get a quote and a number and responsibilities of the accounting service before you can consolidate this as you're covered for that whole function. So I think you can't get one.
We do know the number, what it costs for the county, a bookkeeping every month is $350. There's no overhead, you're not paying benefits. Or anything like that. A part-time town clerk, as pointed out in the job listing. The amount of money that is gonna be paid is up to the council members, that's in the ad as well, and it's also in the ad that they serve, the person serves at y'all's pleasure. So,
What,
and the responsibilities are, the person doesn't need to be a bookkeeping person, so why have that in the responsibilities and have that.
so they're not even doing
So-
journal entries or anything like that?
No.
now, who's writing?
I thought it was just oversight.
Who's preparing the documentation, getting it ready, write the checks and have it presented to you to authorize or not?
That's what, Whitney.
Okay, because that didn't seem to be the description of the part-time job.
I think the attorney ought to look at this too. He probably needs to weigh in and, because we're changing a position and
Provided that information at the last meeting. as
did
well.
he look at it?
He,
I don't know if you looked at it.
yeah, he didn't make any comments on it when we had our third discussion.
Okay.
I had one more thing I just wanted to clarify, and that was when when you were talking to Bill about the part-time position. You had said that you had given it to us and were waiting to hear from us if we had questions and things like that. I think that's something I'm not used to as far as how it goes with town council. I don't know if you all will agree or not. I thought that those kinds of things would be discussed in town council and we would give our, opinion about that. But we need to be reading these things and have a decision of yes, or if it's a no, then you have to ask the question in town council. Is that right?
I mean, I provide you information, and whether you look at it or not, I provide you information. So you all can make as a body the decisions that, you wanna support, or the things that you wanna.
Well, you were talking about the meeting, that you didn't get a clear idea of what the meeting was. I would have expected that
Which
you
meeting?
said we need to make a vote.
Which meeting are you talking
Oh, when you had mentioned about when we were having you had explained to us what happened with the meeting date and why it was confusing. And so I was just kind of talking about that
about? Okay, so
misunderstanding.
are we off of the part-time, full-time, or have you given me direction, what you want me to do with the advertisement?
I thought it was up to all of us, but if you want me to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
But I.
I like to look at both. I
I'll
like to
tell
look at-
you,
Tell me what you want me to.
If we can't afford it, then we gotta go part-time. Is that, I mean, that's the impression I get. We just can't afford a full-time person.
Take down the,
Is
I
that,
mean, I need to adjust if you want me
Because
to change it.
well, see, I would start with full-time and then go to part-time, but there's so much work that needs to be done and I don't see how a part-time person is gonna get half of that stuff done, the websites, the minutes, the, many other things, and being in the office, I just think there's a lot of issues that we haven't really thought about. So having just one staff in there, and if you're away, you've got to have somebody there, or you're on vacation, so anyway, I think if we can afford to, I think we should go with two. That's always worked before, but
I'm for two staff in there.
Yeah.
But not two full-time staff.
Is your recommendation to hire one part-time person? Is that your
For-
recommendation?
yeah, yes, that is my recommendation.
Okay.
To start off and
You
maybe.
can always ramp it up. You can always ask somebody to go full-time. You can always pay more money.
Right.
But in the right now, for pay, for saving money and the workload that we're talking about, a part-time position will get it done. For your recommendation.
Yes.
So is
I'm for that.
Whitney gonna be staying?
I'm for that.
no,
So
you
is this a
gotta
discussion
broaden that. You just.
The thing is, it's a recommendation,
Temporary,
for part-time
yeah,
person,
just
up to
as a
town council,
other position.
you have to know, we'll vote on it and move on it.
Let me follow up on, sorry.
That's okay, sweetie, go.
I
Sorry.
just to bring back what you were asking, Elizabeth, so we had a position that we had offered and nobody applied yet. And you're really asking, should we extend it? And I think for Roger, following up on what you said, I think that to give you a quick answer would be, we should extend that offer. I think that would be my suggestion, that we extend the offer, give us an opportunity to see who else is out there, to see if there's another person. I mean, we know we need the help. It gives you the assistance if we get the person. And I think we at least agree, let's start and try to find somebody to fill that spot. We could also talk in coming months, if we don't fill the spot, we could look at it differently, but at least it gives you a directive to say, yes, continue looking. So continue to look.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everybody? Continue to look.
Do you want full-time or part-time?
Well, I think what you're suggesting at the moment, because we're still dealing with the finance issue, is look part-time. And then if we can't find part-time, we could, at least that would be my suggestion.
I think that's gonna put you in a tough spot. Okay, somebody wants part-time and then you find that you have more work for them to do, and then would you like to do full-time? Quite often, they're wanting that part-time job because they applied for the.
Yeah, it's good.
That's pretty theoretical at this point.
It is, and so
At this
it's.
point, and the job interview, ask them, are you happy with part-time?
Okay, so let's say that that's handled. Let's go into things like planning commission. No support for planning commission on the job description. Would they have any support at all? And the reason why I ask about that is because planning commission needs the support, needs somebody to help with minutes and things like that. It's not like a quick and easy job. There are a lot of things we're having to survey and deal with, and I think it's really important that we consider that. That being one thing, I have like 4 or 5 other ones.
But I want to
Is
just,
that in the charter?
the planning commission,
I don't know.
when I was on the planning commission, I never did the minutes. Rarely did the minutes. The town administrator did the minutes.
Yeah, well.
And they also helped a lot with the comprehensive plan. They helped write it, and we were there and we did it very quickly. But the support for the planning commission is so essential.
Well, and I was horrible at it, and it wasn't a good fit for me. I just don't think that they should be left to do that, because I can't take minutes and, do a meeting at the same time. That's hard.
If you will, just to follow up on both of you, because I agree with you, I do think the planning commission needs, whether it's the clerk or the administrator, one or the other. I do think now that we've gone without for a little bit, so it can be temporary, but in the long run, we have the support of the clerk or the administrator, one way or the other, that having that is helpful. Sometimes it may be redundant, but generally it's complicated things that end up happening, and it's helpful to have office support one way or the other.
So
The ARB would be.
I would think that I think that the administrator, being the zoning administrator or whatever that title is. I think it would be helpful to know what was going on in planning commission and how that might and could assist planning commission on, that's not in the zoning or that's not correct.
It's part of her job too. Yeah, so Miss Elizabeth goes to most of those meetings and meets with people about their SUPs and zoning questions.
Oh,
So
so-
she's actively supporting them.
Because I think one of the things I would say, going back to our town administrator or any position we have, but especially town administrator, you could come to us also and simply say, I think it would be valuable. I mean, you only have so many hours, and that's one thing we have to also remember as a council, that your life isn't unlimited to do the council. You could come to us and say, hey, I'm spending a lot of time on X. I really think I should be spending time on Y. And that's also a conversation you could have with the mayor in a supervisory role or coming back to us. Because we do want to make sure, I don't want to create something that's untenable. We want to make sure that your position is doable, makes sense, and we take the time that you have and put it in the most helpful place for the town. And so that's also helpful to know, because there's endless things, right? There's endless things that you can do. So
I think
coming
it's
back
good
to
to
us.
know what to expect too. If
Yeah.
this is she goes to mow. I think that causes a little bit of not knowing what exactly is gonna happen from month to month. I'll let Nancy Gill, who is the chair, deal with that. I'm just talking about the fact that I think the clerk would be very helpful in that area, has always been in the past. I'll just say one more, and that is, we've been talking about hiring someone to write grants. I don't think anybody has written a grant in years. I don't know that for sure, certainly not through the office. So you keep pointing that way.
Well, Chief raised his hand, he's plenty of
She
grants,
writes grants
and we were,
That's great.
yeah.
Well, no,
I'm
grants
just
is
talking about
within
in
town hall.
this, yeah, within this
Matt-
group.
But Matt votes so grants. Okay.
I'm talking
I just
about
wanna,
these
I
people.
wanna go on record just to go ahead and say this, that, right now, for the town of Scottsville right now, in my opinion is, we are not at a place where we should be. We've had some, difficulties we've been dealing with in the last year or so, and, we're trying to get ourselves above water. And as a town councilor, as a representative of the constituents of Scottsville, if the town administrator comes to us and says, I need a full-time person or a part-time person, our job as town councilors is to support her and do what we think to the best interest of our constituents.
It's actually for.
So right now, what it seems like is going back and forth, back and forth. The administrator has recommended her position. It's our job as town councilors to go ahead and make a motion, vote on it, so she can proceed. Or we can sit here and talk about it and drag it on for the next 2 or 3 months and be dealing with it together in March and April.
What is?
So I just feel like, we're dragging stuff off too much. We need to get to the point and get the job done.
I'm
We
trying
need
to
to do a
drag
favor
anything
to our
out,
constituents.
Walter. I'm just trying to ask questions. I think it's really important to know what's gonna happen. Okay.
Here's what we're gonna do. Town administrator says she can handle the job with a part-time clerk. Right. We're advertising for a part-time clerk. We're not gonna do anything with extending the deadline to February 15th. And see if anybody,
Yourself.
applies.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I make a motion to support the town administrator, what she needs, and town council follow it.
Good.
Why do we need to vote on that?
Not really something we need to vote on, it's all of our obligations.
Because anytime the town spends money, it's not so. Has to somewhat approve it.
I think it's important that we get to approve that kind of stuff, and then this is a position that costs us money. So I thought it was worth talking about.
Yeah, I do too. And also, as far as the money though, there's a range of, I think what's $15 an hour, $20
18
an
to
hour.
20.
And if, I don't know why would one be, what would be the minimum? I don't know why you have a range for a salary position. anytime I've had a salary or a hourly position, this is what it is per hour, that's it, it's not 15 to 20, 15 to 18. I mean, maybe you can get to that, but unless you have a BA or something, if you're going with the BA, that you get a little more money.
The ranges are experience, if you have.
Oh, experience, okay. So-
They don't have any experience.
Okay, so-
And they
Maybe
want
the
to know,
highest is someone that has the credentials of being,
So 5 years experience, you would go to the,
Yes.
what's the range?
5-town
Okay.
clerk, or that
Okay.
they have
Okay.
their notary.
Yeah, that makes
or
sense.
they already
If they've been a top clerk before.
That's a person that, in my opinion, would be
Okay.
at a high level, but my position.
What about education, if somebody had an education, would that be, the next level, or is it just experience?
No, I think education is important, but I think, I understand my position here is that I would receive the applicants and then the ones that look really good, then I forward to the town council and the body, you all
We
choose
make the decision.
who the person to.
Yeah, we all did that last time.
Okay, so we're just gonna extend the deadline to February 15th, leave everything else like it is, and we'll see what happens. Item H, maintenance items, you wanna lead us into that, I see Mr. Heisen's name is there too.
He was the one who requested.
Well, yeah, but I brought that up because that's been an issue for the government services way back. We hired we were involved in hiring the maintenance person, and we come up with schedules and things like that. And there are still there's some improvement, but there's a lot of issues. And I would like to get a monthly update of what's being done with the maintenance, and what are some of the plans. But and we came up with a list of things, and you know, one of the first one is the flag, and I do think that flag's been hung up for over a month, and we need a new flag. But anyway, the other thing is the hillside. We mentioned that, but the mowing, he could do the mowing last year. We had to hire somebody. Can we go back to have him doing the mowing? There are concerns with Bruce Park. If you've been to Bruce Park, that needs the rock wall there. I just think a lot of it needs a regular update on what's going on. I know he doesn't work much in the winter. It's outside, I guess, but there's a lot of outside work needs to be done. Canal Basin Square and many things. But so anyway, I just think that we should have a monthly update of what's the plan that's been taking place, because he's supposed to be keeping a journal. And then also, what's the plan in the future that needs to be done that we all can see? Because one of the things, and the same thing with Javi, when he would assign some work, but then he would follow the maintenance person to see if they did a job and did they do a good job, and kind of give them some critique. And I think that's true today. I think there's been improvements, but I just feel like the look of the town is just one of the most important things for us. Anyway, and there's a lot of issues. So people would bring up to me all the time. What's this? George, I don't know if you're part of this thing.
I can take the credit for that. There was money given for particular, comments a little bit about Canal Basin Square. There's $4,500 unspent out of a $5,000 gift almost 2 years ago.
I know that's
And so they tried to wrap it back in general funds. It's not general funds, it was a specific gift for these things to get done. And for example, I came in November, asked about the lighting, so that we have Christmas, you had the music and Santa Claus and all, the ambient lighting up there. Turns out they didn't even know about the lights there. And Jim found the light bulbs. He sent me an email that I needed to order 144 lights. No, I came in and told the town office that they could order it and take it out of the Powers, my sister's gift. And furthermore, I indicated from there that they would love to get this money spent and taken care of. Now, the work can't be done by Michaelson Sons or Roto-Rooter, it has to be done by a regular plumbing company that knows. They did give me the schematics of the fountain, it can be done. I can get like Danzy, or I can get Muddy Hicks or somebody, we can get the water fountain fixed, get the bathrooms fixed, some of the barrels, the 3 of them that we bought, or 6 of them we bought, 3 of them were used during the entertainment on Friday nights, at the end of the month, and they were ruined because they were rolled around without screws put them first. Town has paid for screws, they still haven't been done by the committee to fix them. So I'll probably have to buy 3 more barrels to get. But the issue is, please work with me, do some, we have to hire some contractors to do some of it. Yes, we do. Not all fall on jam, but still maintenance. And it's money that is available right now. Period. It's available. And furthermore, if you just finish them and complete it and express an interest that somebody really wants to do this, they're willing to give more money to support that part. And the folks from the James River Bateau are willing to help. And I want to make sure we target, at least at this point, April 1st, to get all of that money spent. I think that's a decent amount of time. And because the James River Bateau people, they start their tour at Canal Basin Square every time. We have a lot of out of town people come in here that some of them have moved here since they took the tour. And that's our entry to new people to.
George, just a question for Bill, just to follow up, do you know, has the government services spent time figuring out how we can follow up on using those funds?
No, we haven't, because we are been tasked with taking care of the Canal Basin Square, but beyond that,
Well, just a question, can you do that? Can you guys help them?
You got $45 to $4,500.
But it's the problem is helping, where do you start to, how do you spend it? Who has authorization?
Well, no one else, all I'm trying to say is, he's got.
Just turn it over to him, that's a lot of stuff.
Well, I'm just saying, can the government services committee work with him and do that?
We could, but he's gonna come to our meetings and he's presenting.
George, is that okay? Could
But
you
it's
work
actually
with
getting
government
things done.
services
That's
to
the
do
hard
that?
part.
Could you work with government services so we can get this done?
Absolutely, and I like, I know the town administrator and the clerk have a lot on them. I'm willing to help, even talk to a contractor and help get it lined up. I really want, I love this town, I want to get some of this.
Well, all I'm saying is, I think we have a committee that can just plug in the government
Yeah,
services,
so in other
talk to
words,
them, get it done.
We talk about stuff in the committee and our council or any other time. Problem is, then we leave that meeting. We still don't have somebody that's gonna get that contractor or something. It's all a plan. We don't ever say, this person, not a generic person, but an individual person is responsible.
It seems like y'all could do that. My suggestion is government services want to do that.
I'm willing to help.
Part of it.
Get involved, we'll get bids or something. So
Yeah, we need that, we need bids, and I don't think we're gonna get bids if you don't know how to do that, who they are.
Plumbing of that fountain, there's been a lot of money the town spent that was wasted getting the wrong kind of plumbing people here.
Yeah, but
Y'all give me a list and an estimate of charge.
Yes, sir.
And this
Yes,
is one
sir.
of those things, it's already designated for something, so we don't have to vote to spend the money. You can just come and say, look, I'm gotta get this done, and it's it'd be a $1,500 project, and you get a check. Because it's right now.
I don't get a check, you actually pay the.
Yeah, we've already approved it by approving the budget that you got a $4,500 bank account there to work out of.
Right, and the council actually has some money in that, aside from that even.
Yeah.
And it'd be great. So we replace the few bushes or
One of
whatever, just things that we could easily get done.
okay, well, maybe the government service can take on, that's one of the committees I thought about having separate, but maybe it could be part of it, is building and grounds. To look at grants and bids, because we do need bids, we need bids on signs, we don't have a sign at either end of the town. We need bids on
Bill, let me just.
fixing the, staining the.
Well, let's come up with
Okay.
No, just saying, do this, he's got the money, do that one, but then do those other
Yeah,
ones, do this
But
other.
the streetscape signs we're taking down, and they are very inexpensive, as you saw replace this map out here.
Yeah.
The company changed hands, but I know how to reach them, and they're more than willing to make up. They have all of the artwork, the computer, they can just print it out and send us a roll, or come up here and put it on.
I agree. We need another one that now makes a square just like that.
All right,
That's
well, you
all.
know what to do, and so do it.
Okay. We'll talk to them.
All right, let's move on to the voting things. Ordinances, you want to, town administrator, give us just a brief overview of what we're doing with Lori's ordinance.
So we've discussed in the recent ordinance, several times, I know the chief has presented it, this last work session, the attorney has weighed in on what he was suggesting, so, I think there should be a motion to approve the noise ordinance.
I move that we approve the noise ordinance. I think we've all seen that many times.
I'll second it.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Get Roger second.
More discussion on this one?
I would just like to state to the community that
Yes.
in as it was quoted earlier, James Madison, if men were angels, men are not angels, and at times we can be too noisy as humans, and we live in a community where we have to give some ability to our police force to enforce reasonable opportunities to comply. So we're creating a noise ordinance because we want to make sure there's a way that we can give our law enforcement the power to help our citizens. And ultimately, we do it in the trust both of the community and of our law enforcement. So again, I think this is intended to be helpful. It's intended to not be problematic. And give our law enforcement officers something to be able to be beneficial to the community. Having been around a while, we've had this issue several different times over the years. This seems as a reasonable answer. So thank you, Chief, for presenting this. And I recommend that we pass it.
Also, I would like to state that even though we do this, I would like to have it set up where at the recommendation of the administrator and chief of police, if we need to make any amendments for this, to change it. Don't have it set in stone, allow it to be changed as seen fit. We might, the chief might notice there's another type of ordinance or type of noise that needs to be addressed with. So I want to kind of leave it open to where.
We can do that with any ordinance.
It's built in it.
You can do that with any ordinance.
Yep. The chief said
I
that.
just want to make sure that, you know, we can do that.
And you find something's not working, you can always change it.
So I think your point is well taken to be flexible. This is very specific, but there's always room for. We can adjust something in the future if we needed to.
Bill made the motion, who seconded it?
Whitney.
Roger.
Roger. So, any more discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Yes, sir. Molly Antoine.
Yes.
Yes. Dan Grisco,
Yes.
Bill Heisman.
Yes.
Walter Townsend,
Yes.
Roger Whitley.
Yes.
Thank you.
That was simple. All right, rules and procedure update. Want to give us a summary on that one?
Yes, but first let me go back, to Councilor Angevon had asked about, town clerk support for the planning commission, and I had asked, about the charter, because I didn't think it was in the charter. So I was able to look it up, and it says that the town clerk is not legally required to support the planning commission under Virginia state law or Scottsville's charter. However, Scottsville's practice has previously included town clerk support. And then it goes on to talk about the Virginia state law framework and how, authorizes the planning commission, authority to appoint its own staff and employees if authorized by the governing body. It goes into the statute and then,
Did you know that Albemarle County has like 27 people in their planning?
Yes.
That's probably.
They have a lot.
yes.
I don't think we can compare.
$682 million budget.
I know, I totally understand that. I'm just
And we
thinking,
have
I thought that was pretty absurd, but no, I think support staff is really important. And not, trying to bring up a beef. I just wanted to know exactly
We just
what
checked
was
the
gonna
law,
be.
making sure.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it was-
no, I get that, I get that. Yeah, you asked me about
I
the
mean,
charter, I'm like, I don't know for sure.
I mean, that's what I look at when
Yeah.
I'm looking at,
I know,
is I look at the charter and I look at the ordinance and the state law.
Yeah. and see, I just look at what we've
Well, I
been
think
doing.
also, when you look at the prior, job description too.
Right, but it was for a full-time
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
position.
so that's been eliminated.
Different, yeah.
Yeah.
Bookkeeper. Okay, so, I think we're on
She
rules of procedure, D. I guess I know that we had discussed this, a couple meetings, have now gone through, I think the last one, Councilman, Heisen asked that I show the proposed additions, in the document, which I provided last, week. Bolded, and it shows proposed addition, for the order of business. It clarified the, voting and the expenditure authorization. This is your document from the work session.
So it's not included in this week's packet.
And the other thing that is new here is guest speakers and presentations. And, again, I discussed this before, but I think any council member wishing to invite a guest speaker or request an outside presentation at a regular town council meeting. Shall provide written notice to the mayor, the town administrator, and clerk at least 7 calendar days before the meeting date. And the notice shall include the name and affiliation of the proposed speaker, the subject matter, duration of what the presentation is going to be, and whether the subject matter relates to the responsibilities of any town department or staff. And it goes on to talk about any of the affected departments, speakers from outside the town, public forum.
Just a question for you about that. It's very common when we have speakers to have people that are from outside the town. I'm looking at point 3. Does that intend to limit anybody who's, there's a lot of people who don't live in Scottsville, but they use Scottsville as their town. You see any limitation from that number 3?
I do not.
Okay.
I mean, I don't, even in Virginia, Florida, you don't have to live here in Scottsville to FOIA, so it's anybody. So I think it's all inclusive. If someone wants to speak that's from outside the town, I think they are welcome to. I just would like to know what they're gonna talk about, so then we can be informed, and that we don't have someone talking perhaps about something that we're not prepared or don't have the right department. To speak to it.
This specifically says such presentations will require approval by the mayor and the majority of the council. The reason I'm mentioning it is we've had the practice like tonight to just allow people to, and I don't have any problem, but this would be a change. Like this, if we were to enact this particular thing, on this point, so presentations by individuals who are not residents of the town of Scottsville shall be identified as such. Such presentations will require approval by the mayor and the majority of the council, and I don't know, I don't like this particular point, because by our practice, like our first speaker tonight, we just allow them, but I know that we want to get into the practice of having to exclude them. That's just a thought.
I look at this a little bit differently. I look at presentations as the dark skies people come in and would like to give a 10-minute talk on dark skies program.
Right.
Public forum is public forum.
So it needs to be defined.
Okay, so
The
exactly
presentation
what I was going for with this was the meeting that, when the gentleman came in and spoke about the block cameras.
Yeah.
And no one here knew about it. I mean, I didn't know about it. I don't think anyone.
Well, I don't think any of us know that.
Exactly.
Talk about.
So they didn't know about it, and the police department wasn't given the opportunity to be here to speak to it either. That's what this document.
But I think it's about off, but they wouldn't have to put on anything.
I think that you are talking about two different things. Mr. Mayor, you make a good point. So if you get to point number 1, it's talking about if we invite a guest speaker in, I think that, yes, I think advance notice if I want to have somebody to come and talk or whoever wants to have, I think that makes sense. The difficulty I have with point number 3, and Mr. Mayor, you made this point, is if somebody's not a resident of the town, which is very common for people here to come and speak, and I think it's great that they come and speak. But this does knock them out the way this is worded.
Okay,
So
so do you wanna just do away with 3 altogether?
I would suggest that, yeah, I think the idea is that if we went with the way it's written right here, because what it says is it would require us to have approval.
We'd have to know about it. They couldn't give their presentation next month.
Yeah, let's get rid of it.
You know, one of the people in the audience said, like to talk about so and so, and then we have to discuss it and vote on it, and then they'll have to come back a month later to give their what was on their mind. Public forum is one thing, a presentation is something completely different.
I wasn't sure if this had anything to do with Lincoln Lewis, he's doing a presentation here over the weekend. I don't know whether.
I just said what.
Yeah.
Clear mindset was.
In the meeting. No, I understand. I'm just saying that I wanted to check on that.
Yeah.
Lincoln Lewis is the guy who's helping us with the comp plan, and he's fantastic. He's working with a group of architects around the world who are very interested in town planning and things of that nature. So he asked if he could bring them here because they're very excited about seeing Scottsville. He's gonna give them a tour and all that kind of stuff. We gave him permission to do that before any of these changes had been made. So I want to make sure that everybody knows about it and that, you know, you all don't have any objections.
So that doesn't have to do with, we're talking about town council.
I know, I just said it was a concern about that.
No, it's a
To
good.
touch on about what I said, the work session, that was one of the reasons I had suggested that we have public forum, the work session and with a regular town council session. That way, if someone speaks to us at the work session, we can say, okay, well, if you want to bring a presentation, we have 2 weeks. We can have them set up to the following meeting. So that's why I feel like it's a good idea to allow the public to speak to us during the work session and during the regular town council session. That's one of my suggestions from last.
Well, even though we don't normally have public comments at the work sessions, there are occasions when it is called for and it happens. So.
But it also allowed the public to communicate with us. If we tell them, hey, you're gonna have to wait one time a month. I mean, we're here for the benefit of the town constituent.
Somebody
we
can
need to
certainly
be
make an
involved.
idea past us at the work session and then we talk about it and I don't see where we have to vote on a presentation.
No, I agree.
No,
We just, somebody wants, it'd be like Charlie Armstrong called up and said, we got the new office open now and starting the first home, I'd like to give a presentation on what our plans are for the next 6 months. That's a presentation. But to have Mike step up here to the podium and say, I want to talk about put the toll on the James River Bridge, something like that.
It's a good idea.
That's his business.
There's some money there.
Yeah,
Somewhere around now, though, I'm asking.
It's very busy.
I think we ought to have this special sticker that the log trucks have to buy from the town in order to pass through the town. And we-
I looked up, believe me, I did.
did you?
So what do y'all want to do about this? We can't talk about it all night. You want to, we can, you want to go with it like it is? And is that the only change that anybody,
I don't have it, so I don't believe, I
uh,
didn't really look at it.
To
To this
That
particular,
one, item
To
3.
remove number 3.
it sounds,
she already marked through it and.
Yeah, so, yeah, but other than that, are there any other
Gone.
changes?
No.
Okay, so would you like to vote on it tonight or?
you don't want to go on tonight? Or-
Just want to keep this train moving.
I think it'd be a good idea to vote on it.
Okay, somebody make a motion?
Make a motion.
No, because I don't feel real comfortable, because I've neglected to bring my copy, and I had a few changes, but
If you have-
I'll just abstain.
Well,
I'll
if you have
just abstain.
changes, I mean, there's not a
No,
need to rush through it, I think.
If you
Is
defer
there,
it, I guess.
I want to defer to make.
I
sure
like
that
this
we-
preference prior reading, that's good, but I didn't see that part. Reference prior reading.
Okay,
Well, I think it's been a lot, and I think we're getting used to each other and how everything goes. I'm used to the way things have been. And now I'm getting used to the way things are now. So
We want to defer that to next
if you
month.
want to defer that.
I would say defer,
okay.
but strike number 3.
I will. We will defer that to February.
Okay. And the personnel policy update, you were deferring to February as
Yeah,
well?
we're gonna do that February.
Okay,
And the next one. too.
February's gonna be fun.
All right,
now your last ones.
item D. Back to the Caldwells.
This is crazy.
Is that already been transferred? I thought that was already done. Is that already
Well,
been
it
done?
was,
That's
that's what I want to find out,
What
but
hasn't
we
been
haven't
done?
approved it yet,
We have to approve it through that.
so.
So to answer your question, Mr. Heisen, yes, the money has been transferred
From that fund specifically.
from that fund.
See, that's a problem, but anyway, I guess we can't. But it goes back
Did you
to-
have the money for payroll this whole time?
Yeah, I guess you got a payroll, but I don't know what the other procedures would be to get it, take a loan from a bank or cut. I think one time we put everybody on furloughs or something.
Are we,
Okay, so let me just explain if you don't mind. To meet the January 22nd payroll, I initiated a Caldwell account transfer on January 16th that was completed today. The transfer was necessary because operating cash alone was insufficient. On January 15th, actually, January 14th, I sent a message to the mayor saying that, could he please come to the town hall because we needed to talk about the financial situation, and he said that he would be down here, and he came down. I told him, that we did not have enough money in our accounts, not including the Caldwell Fund money or any of the LGIP 2 funds that we have. Not including that money, we did not have enough money to make the payroll. We discussed, he suggested taking money from the Caldwell Fund. I said, okay, I will proceed with that. I didn't even know how to access the funds. I was able to find an old file and contact them and try to get credentials rolling so I could be approved. On January 16th, I explained the time constraints that we had to have this approval in order to transfer the funds. He did explain to me that we had to go before town council and get approval, which I've said, yes, I know that. Also, on January 16th, I sent town council along with the mayor an email that went into the need to do this. And in the email, it says that I've initiated to protect employees and avoid any interruption of the payroll, a transfer request was initiated. And then anyway, so the money has been transferred. I did not hear back from the council or the mayor about this.
I think the thrust of our discussion, if I remember it correctly, was that we had to have council approval on this, and the reason this meeting that we're at tonight is tonight. It gave us the time, after consulting with our attorney, gave us the necessary time to publish the agenda and the notice of the meeting. So I specifically remember telling you, you had to have council approval to do this.
Are you talking, what are you talking about? The
The
transfer of money?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think I
Okay,
mentioned,
I'm not finished yet.
okay,
So I explained in an email to everyone that this money had to be transferred in order to make payroll, okay? I did not hear from anybody else. Mr. Mayor, you did tell me that I needed town approval, council approval, and I acknowledged that in another email to you saying, yes, you are correct. We do need, I need approval. However, we don't have the time to call the meeting because at the time, FOIA, we didn't have 3 or 4 days. We needed to make the payment. You never even responded back to me. I requested 3 times help. I said, this is absolutely important. And you did not even respond to me. I had to call the chief. And I said, Chief, I can't get an answer. What am I gonna do? If we don't get this money, no one's gonna get paid.
Well, I thought
And
we
so he
made,
reached out to you and you had a conversation, which I'm not sure exactly what the conversation was. But Chief followed up later and said, yes, I talked to the mayor and he was talking to the attorney. So you have never shared anything with me since that day.
well, I did not feel like after telling you that you needed council approval and the council meeting was then scheduled for
That's not fair.
tonight, that
So
you
payroll
go ahead and go
would be
through this.
So payroll, you're gonna tell me that
She
we
should
had to
Have
wait?
you never worked for somebody that you were a couple of days late getting paid?
I just-
Oh,
Yeah, I
wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there.
The police here,
I understand, the chief and I had a talk and we knew, when I left that conversation, I thought we both knew that its payroll was gonna be a day or so late.
And she let us know specifically.
I don't think that's fair to the people who work for the police department. People who work in- So what I think we should do as town council, thinking of the best, not ourselves, the town people, is that we should go ahead and set it up where we did hire Elizabeth to be an administrator to make decisions and stuff. But future reference, if we can't make the payroll or whatever, do what is necessary to make the payroll.
Yeah. Are you gonna pay it back?
You know, our placement of what we need, okay? I'm gonna, as a town councilor, I will do whatever it takes to keep them do their job.
Is this?
Now, it's not fair for a man to put his life on the line and for us to sit there and say, well, we're gonna have to wait a day or two because I wanna talk to 6 people and see what their take is on it.
let me say.
I think it's time to look at this Caldwell fund and make a decision, because if this is gonna happen again.
I want to say something about procedure. I think if there's an emergency like this, don't just email a few people, get on the phone, call. We need to have a special meeting at 6 o'clock today, and let's all get there and do this.
No,
We don't have to.
do you know who can call a special meeting?
The mayor.
I cannot.
I know you can, but you need to urge people, and you need to urge people and say, let's do this, get this done.
Call a special meeting or
To
councilman.
Right, but I didn't know that it was that emergency. But
Or
we could have done that.
Do, go ahead and authorize her to do that. in the
No, we
future.
can't do that. No, we can't do that. That's by, no, we can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. You can't do that with anything.
But it's your policy of the Caldwell fund, why you can't do that?
We can't do that, anything below $500.
Yes.
They voted on each and every time. Otherwise, Kevin was gonna wake up one day and say, oh, I didn't realize you took all of this stuff, other things out. It's not a thing.
Okay, is there?
It's an emergency.
Let's keep the discussion up here.
Is there a plan to put this money back into the Caldwell fund, or is
That's
this
what
gonna
needs to be
continue
discussed.
on?
And
Yeah.
Councilman Heisen also brought up a very valid point, and he questioned, is this gonna happen again?
Mhm.
Yeah, 2 weeks
Well,
or
you know
more.
what? It may, because financially, the town, I mean, we couldn't even make payroll. So, and I've been discussing the B-pole problem, with getting money for B-pole and all the delinquent meals taxes that are delinquent months and months and months. And that is what I've been trying to work on, is sending out those requirement letters first to businesses that this money, you need to make a payment.
It'd be good to get a list of all
So-
those businesses and all those,
So I have all the.
and give them to us, and we can start looking at it.
I have given them to you back in November, I gave them to you in December.
Yeah, we have.
Let's publish it.
You can't, actually, we cannot say who the people are. in
Wanna
public.
be those people? I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
Sure.
and
Let me
Jim
just-
He told, remember, and he told me that I shouldn't have given you all the document before that had the restaurant name on it, and I came by and picked them all up. and
Oh,
said,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I was told by the attorney that I can't give you the information with the restaurant name.
Let me just say this, just to the council, to our community and also to our town administrator, so. We have a problem. So we have a problem.
Good insight, Dan.
We need to work together. So we are a town. And we, at times, whether I make a mistake, we make a mistake, we have a problem. We fix the problem. So my suggestion on this, first of all, is take a breath, take a step back, let's de-escalate for a second, and let's get our heads together, whether the email was there and we saw it or didn't see it, where we are now is where we are now. And so, given this situation, did we want to be in this spot? I think probably no, we didn't want to be in this spot. So my suggestion in terms of solving it, first of all, is we're on the same team, right? We're on the same team. We all want to solve the problem. We want to figure out how to pay our employees. We want to be supportive of our staff. And we have some dilemmas. So given that's true, given that we have a hole at the moment, we have some delinquent taxes. I want to be careful that as we move forward, we make sense. So first of all, I want to say to all of you, we need to figure this out together. We need to figure out what we're going to do as a town and how we address this problem. So thoughts in a helpful way. I'm throwing it out to y'all.
I think we need a special meeting, really just go through the finances and really just, that's the only focus of the meeting.
Sure.
See where we're behind, where the meals taxes are, where the repo taxes are.
And what we can do to help.
And yeah,
because
we do to help, good.
I really
But
think that
I
that's
think
an
it's,
important
we're
idea.
putting a Band-Aids on it, we're not addressing the major problem. We don't have any money, and why aren't we having any money? And what are we doing to get this property tax and this profit and these meals tax? And how can we solve this problem? I think that's the way to do it instead of just
I think the
backing it up.
town needs to stand firm, look at it this way, and if you have delinquent taxes. What happens when you don't pay your car payment? They come pick it up from you if you don't do this.
With DMV
These,
stuff.
I'm sorry, bottom line is, if you can't pay your taxes, you gotta figure out a way. I mean, if you wanna do business in the town of Scottsville, you gotta pay the flag. Plain and simple. I may sound,
So are you
I
gonna
may
go?
sound bad as a town council, but that's just the way it is.
You're great.
They're taxed for a reason. Now we have people that can't get paid because
Yeah.
such and such doesn't want to pay the taxes. So the town of Scottsville needs to stop walking on eggshells, put the foot down, and get the delinquent taxes. Bottom line.
Well, I just want to say, following up on, so thank you for sharing that thought. Counselor Heisen, I agree with your point. I don't know when we should do it, but I do think this is a problem we have to address. And so I do think having a meeting before our next meeting is a good idea. I do think we should find a way to get together and look at delinquent taxes, look at payroll, look at the opportunity we have in terms of where our finances are. So I do think all of those things that setting up that meeting would be helpful. So I don't know when that would be in terms of, we're talking next Tuesday or next Friday or whenever, but we should get together. And this is not,
But everything
we don't want to
else-
leave you, Elizabeth, this isn't your problem. It's not the mayor's, it's our problem. We need to figure out how to solve this problem.
What's coming up with the next payroll? Is there gonna be a crisis there that we need to meet before that?
good possibility. We did get some, money in today,
Uh-huh.
for meals tax. But there's still a lot of delinquent
So I know
businesses.
some of these taxes are coming around at certain times of the year.
Like March 1st.
And here we are, yeah, what about things like the rolling stock tax, the egg tax, some of these other ones? And you don't, not right now, but if there's gonna be, well, at certain times of the year, they're gonna be paying those taxes, and I thought, here we are in the new year, they may be paying them, but if we need to meet before, we don't want a crisis where people are calling and sending emails and not responding and whatever happens, and we wanna be ahead of it. So, when's the next payday?
2 weeks. It was just processed.
Right.
Is that?
So is it,
So not this Friday, the next Friday.
so
And
the
we
town
have
gets
to pay
paid
it on Wednesdays.
So it gets processed today, tomorrow. I guess you and I just did payroll, what, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Yeah,
I think it was, so employees will get paid this Friday. So then we're a week behind, so it won't be this coming Monday, but it'll be the following Monday that we have to do payroll.
So the February 2nd,
That's
on the
it
26th.
is, no,
So-
it is.
Well, was it, I, bad on me, but do the employees get paid bi-weekly or
Yeah, every 2 weeks.
every 2 weeks?
One of the things that we could do also that would be helpful, and having been in this position, but we do occasionally see here's who owes what, and I don't remember the right procedure, whether that's closed or open or whatever, but we do need to figure out a healthy way to approach those who owe money to see, also, they're not all in the same place, so to figure out how to do that. So it would be helpful to know what we're talking about, not at the second, but to see a list about that, whatever the right way.
I
to
think
do
in a
that.
closed session, I have the information and I
Okay.
would be more than happy to share with you, everything, what restaurants owe and what people taxes are owed.
As much as, I mean, and I want to say this to the business owners in the community, that it goes both ways. On the one hand, they have the opportunity to be in Scottsville, and I'm thankful they're here. So I want to be careful in terms of how we approach them, but at the same time, there are times where a delinquency is a long time and it has to be dealt with.
Right.
Sometimes it's a short time, so we just need to be wise, talk to our and my fellow town councilors down here. We have to, whatever the right way is with different ones, but Mr. Bowling can give us wise advice in terms of how to do it. It's an unfortunate part of what we have to do. At times, we have to be the tax people who collect.
Well, send out communication to these
Yes.
people, right?
So the first step is to send out letters. And I sent out letters, what, December 11th
and 12.
December 11th and 12th. And some people I haven't even heard back from. I know one of the restaurants, the chief was helpful in communicating with that person and then.
And so have payments been continuing or?
Well, there hasn't been a payment this week, but I mean, they're like. What did we say?
I did talk to his brother today,
Okay,
and they're supposed to be at least coming by before tomorrow and making another thing.
well, that's good, but that person, aren't they like 40 to 50,000?
But we
what we
know
found.
that, the one business is at least $20,000 to $26,000 behind in taxes. I think Whitney was finally able to get some of the monthly reports on the sales that they've had from the business. I think you may still be short too, is that right? The Jim and Elizabeth and Whitney and I have been working with the owner. Business has just been bad for them. But like Elizabeth and everyone has talked about, that's the town's tax money. They've spent. And they haven't given their due. So talking with Jim and Elizabeth, we're trying to work with the business best we can to get the back taxes, but as far as they're so far back, I'm not sure that they're gonna catch up and how they're gonna catch up. I heard council, what are we gonna do? That was one thing that, according to the ordinance in the town, they would be able to be charged by the police. It's a class one misdemeanor. They can be convicted, $2,500 fine, 12 months in jail, either or both, right? And it doesn't absolve them of having to pay their taxes. So not only would they be or potentially charged, convicted, fined again, but they still owe the taxes. I don't know personally, being a tax collector for me, that feels not good. Doesn't feel good.
Well, to touch on
No,
what
it's
Councilor Victor said, I understand, you know, we wanna approach the businesses and if it's a new business, they just starting out, I understand it might be difficult. But if we're talking about a business that's been in town for more than 5+ years or whatever, then I'm sorry, there's no excuse.
This business has been in town a couple of years.
So, you know, I mean, if it's a business been here less than a year, okay, you're still struggling, you're still learning. But yeah,
There's no excuse for not paying the meals tax. You buy your meal, you pay the tax to the guy behind the counter, all he has to do is just bring it down here.
So, yeah.
That's meals tax. Before taxes, you might.
I agree with you, that's why I say that the town needs to be firm and not walk on eggshells, we need to get with it, I mean, you know, I'm sorry, that's the way it is.
Well, I mean, that we have,
We're following
you
procedures.
look at, we get the, they're supposed to provide a statement along with their bill.
With
Yes,
Thank you.
and, there's a section on there that they get a discount if they pay early. Well, we have ones that, well, they'll write that they got it it's due on the 20th. They'll write on the check or the form that it's the 20th. Well, it's today, what, the 22nd? And we know it's late. Not only is it late, but then they give themselves the $100 discount.
Oh,
And I'm like, are you kidding me?
wow.
It's
And,
very
you know, and so that's
blatant.
It
So the
might be
letters
time
you
to
sent out, are
remind
they
them.
regular letters or are they registered letters?
not registered yet.
So do you think maybe for future things, we'll send out a registered letter, have a confirmation that they've signed it? And that way we have a legal
Right, but
standpoint
it's
from
one
the
of
town.
those, I think
You
it's like
received it.
$17.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah,
And they don't, I've gotten some back now that don't even have signatures, like I don't really know if the person.
Yeah.
$17 is all right to pay to get 26 grand back.
But I mean, Whitney's been calling.
Yeah, so anyway, we're taking these measures as recommended by our town attorney,
mhm,
and escalating as appropriate.
yeah.
And then as far as the V poll, I know I've been questioned about, well, how much is V poll? How much is owed on that? I don't have a number to provide because it's a percentage depending on what the business is.
Receipt.
Like if it's a hairdresser, they owe this percentage. If it's a retail establishment, it's this percentage, and it's based upon their previous year's gross receipts. Again, there's a document they're supposed to provide to us that shows what their gross receipts are. It's all on the honor system. So if they write down 0, which I've been looking closely at some of this stuff, and I'm like, oh, really? You only make that much money, you know. Exactly.
Right.
And then we have some that are established businesses that incorrectly think that the B poll tax is the $50 charge or the $30 charge,
Yeah,
and then
it's
here
not.
is,
Yeah,
2021. It's like, no. So that's just another step, but I know that you had suggested what could we do to help, and I'm thinking, you wanna write some letters?
Absolutely.
And or address envelopes or something
Yeah.
to help, because it's literally
Time consuming.
Whitney and I trying to do that.
well, and I think this is why I was kind of concerned about the part-time, full-time, but you're looking at the dollars and cents going, yeah, I don't know where that's gonna come from.
That's okay.
So I get that.
I mean, I think hiring somebody, a temp even, to come in and
we talk about interns too.
whatever, I think that would be great, because that would make something more.
Don't waste your money, I'm glad to do it.
I know Elizabeth's office talked about maybe getting the chamber president to get with the businesses and maybe have a town hall meeting with just our business owners.
Great idea.
And try to get them, have Elizabeth and Whitney explain to them exactly what, I don't know what we call it, but what it is, what they owe. It seems like from outside looking in and trying to help with this process, seems like maybe some past administrations may have gotten a little confused along the way about what's owed, when it's owed, and that type of stuff. Not holding business owners accountable as far as receipts.
Out of sight, out of mind, they haven't been asked, you know.
So maybe having a town hall, get the chamber president and vice president involved, have our business owners come here to Victory Hall and meet with her, with Whitney and the staff, and explain to them exactly what it is and how the process is, and try to encourage them. You know, back taxes impact all the employees of the town. You know, it impacts the services of the town. So it's just an idea that.
That's a great idea, Chief. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, question on the taxes and the revenue coming in from the taxes.
Yes, sir.
I mean, everyone likes to talk about the meals tax, and that is the biggest tax that we get in, but there's some other ones that, like cigarette tax is probably a third of all just tax revenue.
Yes, sir.
And I actually think I had to make sure we can raise the rates on that.
Can't,
I think
we're as high as we can
I
go.
think we are.
State has
I thought-
State has regulations, but I see other towns and
Yeah.
counties. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud, but how's the cigarette tax coming in? Is that, I mean, all these other revenue, if we have a closed meeting, can we get updates on all the other revenue that's coming in?
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's not only that, sales tax, and, you know, if I go back and look at previous year's budgets, we get as much in cigarette tax as we do in sales tax. But also, I'm not sure that we're taxing all the tobacco products that we can. You know, whether it's liquid vapes and cigars, I don't care if we tax tobacco $10 a puff myself. Well, if we can tax it, let's tax it. You know,
Do you know if there are stipulations regarding the cigarettes?
I'll find out and start asking the lawyer.
Thank you.
I mean, let's look at some other revenue. I think we're only looking at cigarettes.
Yeah, we could raise the meals tax too.
Well, that's only 0.5%. If we're desperate, I guess we have to. Well,
If you depend on meals tax for.
but meals tax,
floating of-
if you add up, I'm just looking at like years going back to 23 or something and previously. You know, if you add up the cigarette and the business taxes, that's about what the meals tax is. You know, if meals tax is slow, there's other revenue sources. We got to start making sure that's coming in too.
Where are we with property
Like
tax?
the real estate tax.
We don't have a property tax, and all our property tax will be going up some more because we got new assessments in the mail coming.
It's Travis,
No, I hear you.
Well, I
was
mean,
just
I think
wondering
that
where we
the
are.
option to look at somehow getting the money
Oh,
back. You know, the
process.
agreement that the
Yeah.
town made almost 30 years ago, that they were gonna give up their real estate taxes to the Albemarle in exchange for 800 plus acres, you know. And it was only a 5-year deal, and after 5 years, they could revert back to what they were doing,
Yeah.
and they've never done it.
And they didn't, because they were on better.
So, I mean, I'm curious whether an attorney could present that to Albemarle and say, you know what, we don't want to. pay
Contact her in
you.
2020, that was a bad deal in town of Scottsville Park.
And so why did that halt? I know that was like found out several months ago that we
Because we
had
got
that.
All
thought.
that town out of it. Once we got all that town, that changed everything. We got all that land there, all that.
Okay, I
I think
understand
that was a
that.
big part of it.
Okay. I'll ask my questions another time.
How much is payroll each, every 2 weeks?
It was around 14.
40,000?
And now that the town clerk's salary has dropped off of there, I
Yeah.
think this last one was
Little 13.
13.
That's counting all the FICA taxes and all that stuff too. Okay.
And it goes through ADP, we do not process payroll here.
Yeah,
in the-
yeah.
Are we
Why
getting-
would you? You don't want to do it yourself.
Are we getting contractor license taxes and revenue off of construction out here?
We have, but that, yes, that needs to be, I've been thinking about that too, because I see all the trucks going by now that they have a house under construction.
Yeah.
All those services, plumbing, wiring,
Mhm.
Yeah,
all that.
they're in, right?
But you know what? They're only paying $30. So it's not.
There's a nickel in the parking lot for picking it up.
So like, we're gonna make a ton
I'm
of.
over here worrying about $13,000 payroll, and yeah, their dollars will help.
Yeah.
This is just information for Google, but I think we're 5 cents behind Albemarle in cigarettes.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, you knew that already. I'm
I was
sorry.
trying to say that we are not to the highest because I knew, because
Gotcha.
I've done just a little bit of research on cigarette stamps. And yeah, because I wasn't familiar about the process at all.
Right.
And even when the people come to buy the stamps from us, a vendor was asking how he even gets them on there, and so I had to look a lot up.
Right.
And
right.
it turns out that there is a warehouse and distribution center that puts those stamps on for them using a thermal.
Oh, I got you. Thank God.
But anyway, so then I looked at all the surrounding areas and Alcohol County is 5 cents cheaper, more expensive.
Yeah, and so I was wondering, how do we do that? I mean,
Just go to the state code, you know? And,
Okay.
and,
You didn't want to talk about that. I got you.
And then you can raise it if.
yeah, I mean, that's how I find
That's what he's
stuff
saying,
out,
that
like what
we could raise
Just
it.
meant here in the town, what if we were gonna talk about doing that, but
you gotta know what we could raise it to. So
Yeah,
you gotta go look at the state code and what we're allowed to.
yeah.
Or researching.
More research.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Charlottesville has it to 7% for our meals tax. I think that even might be a couple $1,000, you know, that's.
All right. Can we do a resolution on the transfer ratification? Can you all ratify that?
You don't want to vote on that now?
yes.
Somebody make a motion.
So moved.
So,
Second,
any further discussion?
As I said before, Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna say it again. I think it's a wise idea that I'm the last person that likes having extra meetings, but we should have a meeting, but before our next meeting where we specifically get together and
Special meeting.
yeah, to try to
Get our finances.
on a personal level, I'm on almost all next week, but we need to get together and do this. So I'm simply saying it as part of this resolution. It's a problem. Nobody wanted it to happen. It seems like we had some miscommunication. That happens in life. It does happen. So as a town, we need to solve this problem. We need to support our staff. And for those reasons, we need to accept what happened. It's not what we wanted to have happen, but it's what happened. And we all are gonna now figure out how to get this taken care of for the good of the citizens of Scottsville.
Okay,
Okay.
so you want to call, moving second, is there any further discussion?
I'd like to have the amendment about payback. What's the payback in it? The stipulation. For this transfer, if it's a call specific.
we have to wait until we can make payroll again, don't you think?
Yeah, but still gotta have that in there.
No, I think it's important. I'm worried.
So, Mr. Mayor, we're gonna vote to accept what happened. I don't know what else we have. It happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened.
We're going to vote to
Approve it after the fact.
approve after the fact.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion?
It's formal authorization and ratification.
Call for the vote.
We have a discussion from the public.
I just have a question. I haven't heard how much was borrowed from the account.
20,000.
20.
20,000.
Okay.
And the payroll obligation was $13,060.42.
So you have 7 for the next payroll?
Yeah, what we're gonna do for the next pay, we're gonna have to have another vote.
Well, we also have bills to pay,
But we're gonna have
and
another,
those are all in that table there.
but what are we gonna do for the next 2 weeks when the other one comes through? We're gonna just,
We shall, we need to set a meeting that we
we'll have another meeting.
to talk, figure
Yeah,
this
to
out.
talk for the
So-
future.
What's everybody's schedule look like for Wednesday, February 4th?
You're out.
Fourth on that, that's 2 weeks.
No.
When February 4th.
Let's get this motion that's on the floor voted on, then we'll vote to have a special meeting.
Okay,
So any other discussion? Madam Clerk?
yes, sir. Molly Angevine,
Yes.
Dan Ritzko,
Yes.
Bill Heisen,
No,
Walter Townsend.
Yes.
And Roger Whitley.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll slip this one in here. Wednesday, February 4th, 7 o'clock.
I'll do that.
Sounds
Now,
good.
is that meeting gonna be open to the public or is that due tomorrow?
yes.
Yeah.
Because if it's not open to the public,
Well, it'll be open to the public till we go into closed session.
Could be both, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
both.
Okay, so tell me what you want to see. You want to see names and the names.
Minutes, and financial information,
And the other thing would be,
actual.
I do think Mr. Heisen's point is a good one. We can't do it yet, but we should have some paragraph or two that says we do want to repay the Caldwell fund. Just, we're not doing it yet, but I think we should do that. The other would be to, whatever way you think we could close the gap, if any way possible, before the next payroll. Like, in other words, whatever you see, whatever is out there. And it could even be, maybe back to the mayor, like, as Chief said, it could be that there's a suggested meeting that we encourage to go with the chamber. That there is that need, that we encourage that to happen quickly, a meeting like that. Second of all, I think if you need help to address some envelopes, maybe some people would volunteer to do that. I say that because I'm gonna be out of town, but let us know if there any way that you think we can not go further in the hole. It may not be possible, but whatever recommendation you have, and whatever Roger, whatever Nicola you can find. I'm with you on that one.
So there's two accounts in the local government investment pool, the LVIP. One is specifically named the Caldwell funds, and then there's another one, and one has about 240,000, and the other one has 200,000.
Okay. Moving on.
Yeah.
I have just a couple of things to add to what I said at the work session. And you may find this interesting. At our Chamber of Commerce Board meeting, I made a little brief presentation of how businesses in town were being negligent in paying their taxes. And wrote an article, short article, a couple paragraphs for the chamber newsletters, giving the people that read it the facts of life, that if they don't pay their taxes, you have a real estate tax, or you have the police chief will come and lock your door. Couldn't get much more plain than that. Well, I don't know if it's good or not, who knows? I think it's kind of disgraceful if you have a business that's a member of the Chamber of Commerce and they are not living up to their responsibilities. It's sad. Another thing is Sunday, I went to a Martin Luther King celebration at New Hope Baptist Church in Esmont. Great afternoon, food, singing, and all kinds of speakers. It was very good. Yesterday morning, thanks to Mr. Briscoe here, we had the third graders from Scottsville Elementary come and We told them all about how council works, and we installed 6 of them as council people and 1 as mayor, and let them ponder a question about what to do with the stray cats in town, and they came to a vote, and it was a lot of fun. Molly took part in it. Eileen Morse was here, chief, and one of our auxiliary officers came, told the kids what they do. It was just real fun out. Thank Dan for that. And then, yesterday afternoon, I joined, half a dozen, local chamber members up at, the Old Dominion National Bank closed their, branch over at North Garden and opened up a new one just on the outskirts of UVA over on West Main Street. So we had the ribbon cutting, got to meet the, Charlottesville mayor, had a nice chat with him, and Ms. Copeland, who is president of their Chamber of Commerce in Charlottesville. And so we have future appointments set up to meet with them again and see how we can work together. So that was my update. Tried to call Mr. Bowling today because he had called me yesterday, but he didn't answer, and I left him a voicemail and haven't heard back. Any further comments from the town administrator or the treasurer?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody on any committees that need to update anything that wasn't mentioned at the work session? I know, Peter, you came in late. Did you have anything you wanted? You missed the public forum. Do you have anything special?
Yes, it may.
Yeah, come on, go. You got a couple minutes.
Okay.
Know our bedtime.
Mr. Mayor, Town Council, I just want to speak on a couple things in my 3 minutes. The first is use of automatic license plate recognition systems. I sent the letter to the Town Council a couple weeks ago. Had actually a couple of great discussions with Chief Jenkins, very productive. I just sent actually this afternoon a follow-up email to the chief's comments, and I think we're on a great level of understanding, and I really want to commend the work he's done to implement the system as directed. Overall, I have to admit I am ambivalent as a whole about the system. I see the great use to law enforcement. It really is a great use. I can really understand how it would be really beneficial to the town and to the public. The cost of that is the great amount of surveillance data that gets uploaded to a computer system. And so that gives me a great pause. Yes, the state law, the General Assembly has issued a new law about how these systems are to be used throughout the Commonwealth. And the exemption that they give from the Freedom of Information Act, it's understandable why they do it, but it even makes it more incumbent, I think, on the town council to make sure that the council exerts its oversight role over the systems and how it's used in the town. So, and that can be done in 4 ways. The first is to approve the use of the ALPR system, which I understand y'all did last month. The second way is to the oversight over the approval of the agreement between the town and the ALPR vendor, in this case, Flock. The third way is to make sure, or I would recommend that you'll periodically review the police department's policies on how ALPR is used, just like I did in my letter to you. And lastly, also to review the publicly posted annual report the town police have to post after they submit it to the state police each year. So Chief Jenkins and I discussed that report. Give him, I look forward to his response to the new issues I raised this afternoon. But my purpose in being is, even though I'm ambivalent about the overall use of it, since it is being used here, I just want to give my best recommendations on to the town police and to you all about how it should be used. Second, we have a big storm coming up. I'm an amateur radio operator. I volunteered my services to the town through Chief Jenkins and his Sergeant John Ball to if we have the worst case scenario where there's no electricity, no communications in town, of a means for people to the general public to send messages beyond. Lastly, I didn't expect to have to talk about this one, but it was about shutdowns and town shutdowns and paying payroll and back taxes. I'm not a town resident, but I am a town taxpayer because I eat the meals here and use the town businesses, and they itemize that tax that I'm charged. So in a sense, they're fraudulently withholding that. They've already charged me for it. They've spent money obligated to go to the town on other purposes. So I don't have a lot of sympathy there. I do have sympathy for the town staff. I know what it's like. I've gone through a lot of federal government shutdowns in active duty and as a civilian, and it's not good. The civilians get furloughed when you don't pay them. Active duty military, you have to say, here's an IOU, but please still do your job. And that's not a good way of doing things. And I say, please do anything you can. And I'm glad to see the action you all took tonight. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
Anything else up here?
Oh, council member comments? That kind of are we on number 11?
Yeah, we said if anybody has anything to add to their report from the work session. Now it's time to do it.
Well, this was the work session. This is number 11, reports and comments. I have 2 comments. One is a report. So I went to a public hearing and planning commission meeting in Havana about the Penasca power plant, and they. Okay. All right, you tell them now. All right. Well, the only other announcement I had is because of the weather. I don't know if you know of any issues with we're supposed to go Danby this Tuesday, and I got called to see if we can do it on the 10th. So I don't see any problem, but if there's any if the farmers market's going to be used, they want to know. Otherwise, we'll have a food pantry on the 10th February, not this Tuesday, the 10th. So unless there's a problem with that, that'll be when the next food pantry is. And if anybody knows people who need food, we've got plenty of it, especially venison.
So we'll have a special meeting on the north, make sure you remind us.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything. We don't have anything. I don't think we do anything.
Motion to adjourn.
Well, wait, she wanted.
Okay.
Oh, you want to let me ask? No, go ahead.
Talked about Tenasca as being, something that we were. I'm sorry. Yes, I was there, of course, I'm crying. We had talked about Tenasca being something that we should be concerned about as well. And so we went to the meeting and observed all of that. There were a lot of incredible people who got up and talked. It was resounding that most people did not prefer it to happen. I think that really went a long way to getting them to make the decision that they did. But we had Harvard did a study, and there's a lot of controversy about that. The people who were supporting the Tenasca plant, they thought that the Harvard study was not correct and based on the wrong kind of data and things like that. So you had the usual back and forth. The people who didn't want it thought the Harvard study was impressive. The people who didn't or did want it obviously came up with a dissenting view on that. So here's the packet.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
I don't think I did.
I printed it too.
Did you really? Well, they gave me this one at the meeting, so, I did save some
Did they
paper.
vote
on that, but-
against it, did you say?
Yeah, 3-1.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was interesting because it was, they were asked to do, to certify whether it was in line with the comp plan, because that is where we look first, is it, what we want, what we all agreed that we wanted for the town going forward. So they came back and said it's not in line with our comp plan.
It was partially, wasn't right.
Well, okay, you're right. I think the final answer was no, it was not in line with the comp plan, but yes, there were some considerations that maybe possibly if they, in part, like it was, in keeping in parts, and that could have meant 2 words, or it could have meant the whole sentiment of the section or whatever. They found that it was not enough to say that it was just in part. They didn't feel comfortable with saying, it kind of sort of.
There were a lot of
With that.
mostly environmental concerns too.
Yeah, so some of the concerns were premature deaths, asthma, cancer, clean water. People were concerned about that. The noise levels, which I think would be a big one for me too. I mean, obviously those others were very important too, but in the end, they decided that it wasn't in line, and that was the end of it. Until Tenasca makes an appeal. So they can appeal, and it'll be up to the Board of Supervisors in Fluvanna. So we had talked about maybe seeing whether we wanted to send a letter or give some sort of I don't know, just our opinion about it, or if we wanted to do, good luck with that. I don't know.
It may, letters are good, and it may be well if each of us just did our own letter.
Yeah, I don't think.
Okay.
My concern is this, where they publicly state, well, we're only gonna dump 1.5 million gallons of water, used
Yeah.
water, back into James River every day.
Well, actually, what they said in the meeting was that so it'll come out of the James, but it'll go into the
They go
Rivanna.
into Sunny Man Creek, then it goes to Ravenna.
Yeah.
Doesn't Ravenna go? Goes to the James.
Well, I hear you there.
Well,
I hear you there. So it's all interconnected. And I'm
appreciate
sure
both of you going.
it was a really great thing, and Fluvanna does things slightly differently. They have more staff as well. And so seeing it on a county level is
More than 2.
Yeah.
more than 2 is all
Yeah.
amazing on.
It should be some official company letterhead with your name on it, down Scottsville, and draw them up a letter,
I will.
okay?
Thank
I
you.
will too. All right, motion to adjourn. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't you mean about that?
Okay, thank you. Have a nice.
Be walking through the town.